Most people don't fail because they don't want to change. They want it. They feel it. They can see the version of themselves they're supposed to become. But then something happens. They go back into the same rooms, the same conversations, the same routines, the same people, same reactions, same escapes. And slowly, the old self comes back online. Not because they were weak, but because the structure never changed. You tried to bring a new identity into the same environment that trained the old one. And that's why the change doesn't hold. Because the old version of you was not just a mindset. It was built. It had rhythm. It had a schedule. It had relationships. It had rewards. It had hiding places. So if you're trying to become new while protecting everything that kept the old self alive, you're not transforming. You're negotiating with the past. You cannot install new identity into the architecture of your past. The old self is not just a mindset. That's the mistake. People think change is about thinking better thoughts. So they read something, get inspired, make a decision, tell themselves, I'm done being that person. And for a moment, they mean it. But then the old structure starts speaking. The same morning routine, the same phone in the hand, same conversations, same rooms, same people expecting the same version of you, the same emotional triggers, and the same little escapes you run to when pressure shows up. And before you even notice it, you're not choosing the old self, you're being cued back into it. Because identity is not held together by thoughts alone. It's reinforced by repetition, by your environment, by relationships, by what you tolerate, by what you return to, by what still has access to you. That old version you had a system around it. It had rhythms that kept you alive. It had people who knew how to pull it forward, had habits that fed it. It had rooms where it felt normal. So if you only change your mindset but leave the support system untouched, the old identity still has a place to live. Your identity has a support system. The new version of you sounds good until you realize what it'll interrupt. Because the future self is not just an upgrade, it's a disruption. It disrupts your habits. It disrupts the comfort. It disrupts your excuses. It disrupts the way people are used to accessing you. And that's where fear enters. Not because you don't want to grow, but because part of you already knows if you become that version of yourself, certain things can't come with you. Certain conversations won't feel the same. Certain people won't understand the change. Certain routines will start to feel like betrayal. Certain rooms will no longer fit, and this is where people freeze. They can feel the cost before they can feel the freedom, and they can sense that becoming the new will disturb the life that depends on them staying familiar. So they hesitate. They call it confusion. They call it timing. They say, I'm just not ready yet. But underneath that, they're afraid of what the new self will require them to release. Because the new you will not be accepted by everything connected to the old you. The new version of you will threaten a playlist of people, habits, and places that depend on the old one. Your life has a playlist, and most of the time, you don't even realize it's playing. Certain people bring out certain reactions, and certain places bring back certain habits. Some conversations pull you into old roles. Some activities make the old self feel normal again. You walk into a room and suddenly your standards drop. You answer one message and suddenly your nervous system is back in an old pattern. You hear one tone, one joke, one invitation, one familiar pressure, and the version of you thought you outgrew starts waking back up. That's not random. That's conditioning. Your environment has memory. Your relationships have rhythm. Your routines have gravity. And if you keep exposing the new self to the same cues that trained the old one, eventually the old self will start leading again. And that's why change feels so difficult. Not because you're incapable, but because you're trying to become new while standing inside places that recognize you as the old version. Some rooms don't ask who you're becoming. They remind you of who you used to be. Some people don't meet your growth. They negotiate with your old patterns. And some activities don't relax you. They reactivate you. So pay attention to the playlist. Because what you repeatedly expose yourself to will repeatedly call something out of you. Some environments don't know the new you. They only know how to summon the old one. People say they're afraid of change, but most of the time, they're not afraid of change itself. They're afraid of what change will expose. Because the new self has standards, and standards create distance. The new self's not going to keep giving unlimited access or keep laughing at what drains it. New self's not going to keep saying yes just to avoid tension, or keep returning to distractions that make the old life feel comfortable. And somewhere inside all that, you know it. You know that if you become the person you keep seeing in your mind, some things are going to have to lose permission. Some people will get less access. Some habits will have to stop being defended. Some rooms are going to stop feeling safe. Some approval will not be worth the cost. And that's where the freeze happens, because the old self was expensive, but it was familiar. And the new self is cleaner, but it demands separation. So you stand at the edge, not because you don't know what to do, but because you know exactly what becoming new will no longer allow. You're not afraid of becoming new. You're afraid of what the new you will no longer be able to tolerate. This is where people get stuck, not at the beginning, at the doorway, because now they can see it. They can see the new life. They can see the cleaner version of themselves. They can see the discipline, the peace, the standards, the separation, the future that keeps calling them forward. But they can also see what stepping through that doorway will disturb. They can see conversations that will change and people who may not understand, habits that will lose power, invitations are going to have to decline. The version of themselves they'll no longer be able to perform. And that creates paralysis. Because the doorway isn't just personal. It's social, it's relational, it's emotional. It asks you to stop being available to the life that kept you familiar. So people stand there, 1 foot in awareness, 1 foot in attachment. They know the old structure is too small, but they still feel loyal to it. They know the new self is calling, but they're still negotiating with the cost. And that's why they don't move. Not because they can't, but because part of them is still asking permission for what they need to outgrow. The doorway is not being blocked by ability. It's blocked by attachment. And this is where people make the next mistake. They try to solve the old structure by adding more habits, more plans, more books, more content, more declarations, more identity statements, more promises to finally get serious. But more is not always growth. Sometimes more is avoidance, because adding gives you the feeling of progress without requiring the pain of removal. You don't need 10 new habits if 3 old ones keep destroying your energy. You don't need another plan if your environment keeps pulling you backwards. You certainly don't need an identity statement if your daily structure still belongs to the old self. The work is simpler than that. Not easier, simpler. Remove the leak. Remove the trigger. Remove the room. Remove the excuse. Remove the access. Remove the version of you that keeps performing for a life you say you no longer want. That's where mastery begins, not in adding more complexity, but in creating less contradiction. Because the new self does not need a louder speech, it needs a cleaner structure. Mastery is not complexity. Mastery is removal. You cannot receive the new while gripping the old, and that's one of the hardest truths to accept. Because people want transformation without release. They want the new life, but still want the old comforts. They want the new identity, but still want the old access. They want the new peace, but they keep feeding the same noise and then wonder why nothing fits. Capacity does not appear by force. It's created by release. You make room by letting go. Letting go of the habits that keep draining your focus, and letting go of the conversations that keep pulling you backwards. Letting go of the role you keep performing so other people don't feel uncomfortable, and letting go of the environment where the old still feels at home. And at first, that space feels empty, feels quiet, unfamiliar. It may even feel like loss. But that emptiness is not failure. That is space where the new structure begins. Because if every part of your life is already occupied by the old version, where exactly is the new one supposed to live? Letting go is not emptiness. It's making room. The body doesn't always choose what is good. It often chooses what's familiar. That's why people return to what hurts them. Not because they want pain, but because familiar pain has a pattern. It has rhythm. It has a known ending. The nervous system says, I know this place. I know this stress. I know this disappointment. I know this version of survival. And even if it hurts, it feels predictable. But unfamiliar freedom feels different. Peace can feel suspicious. Stillness can feel unsafe. Healthy distance can feel like abandonment. A clean structure can feel boring. A new identity can feel like standing in an open space with nothing to hide behind. So people go back to the old conversations, back to the old distractions, back to the old relationships with chaos, back to the old self, because at least that pain makes sense. That is why awareness alone is not enough. You have to teach the body that unfamiliar doesn't mean dangerous. You have to stop misleading old pain for safety, because the old structure may be painful, but it's still familiar. And familiarity is one of the strongest chain a person will ever have to break. Familiar pain feels safer than unfamiliar peace. And when you finally begin to change, the old structure will test you. Not always dramatically, sometimes quietly. A message comes in, invitation shows up, a familiar trigger returns, a habit whispers, just this once. A person tests the boundary you just built. The past doesn't always attack. Sometimes it negotiates. It asks for a smaller version of your standard. One exception, one compromise, one more performance of the old you. And this is where you find out if the change is real. Because anyone can declare a new identity when nothing's pulling on them. But the structure tests you under pressure. It asks, are you serious? Do you mean it now? Or was that only who you were when you felt inspired? This is why the first test matters, because every time you return to the old pattern, you teach the new structure that your new standard's negotiable. But every time you hold the line, you remove another piece of its authority. The old life doesn't disappear just because you had a realization. It weakens when you stop obeying it. The old life does not release you without asking if you're serious. So don't just declare a new identity. Build a structure that can hold it. Because a new self needs somewhere to live. It needs a new morning, new inputs, new conversations, new boundaries, new rooms, new evidence. It needs fewer leaks, fewer negotiations, fewer places where the old version still has authority. This is where change becomes real. Not when you say, I'm different now, but when your life begins to prove it. When your morning no longer belongs in chaos, when your phone no longer controls your attention, when your environment no longer feels the version you're trying to outgrow, when your boundaries stop being announcements and start becoming architecture. That is structure. That's where identity begins to stabilize. Because the new self can't survive on inspiration. It can't survive on a good mood. It can't survive on one powerful realization. It needs repetition. It needs standards. It needs protected space. It needs evidence you can trust. So before you ask yourself who you want to become, ask yourself this. What structure would that version of me require? What would need to be removed? What would need to be protected? What would need to become non-negotiable? Because identity does not rise to your imagination. It returns to your structure. Identity doesn't survive on intention. It survives on structure. And at some point, you have to stop trying to carry both. The old self and new self cannot both be obeyed. One will become law. One will command your mornings. One will choose your conversations. One will decide what you tolerate. One will determine where your energy goes. One will decide what gets access to you. And this is where transformation becomes serious. Because you cannot keep asking the new self to grow while still letting the old structure give orders. You cannot keep saying you want peace while still feeding the same noise. You cannot keep saying you want discipline while still protecting the escapes that weaken you. You can't keep saying you want to become new while still making room for everything that keeps summoning the old version. At some point, a line has to be drawn. Not loudly, not dramatically, but clearly. This no longer gets access. This no longer gets a vote. This no longer gets to command my nervous system. This no longer gets to define who I'm becoming. That is the codex. Not motivation, law. A standard you return to when the old life starts speaking again. Because the old self survives through structure. And if you leave the structure intact, the identity returns. So stop trying to become new inside the architecture of your past. Stop dragging the old life through the doorway and calling it transformation. Build the structure that can hold the person you say you're becoming. Then protect it, because you don't become new by dragging the old life with you. You become new when the old structure no longer has permission to command you. The old self survives through structure. Change the structure, or the identity returns. Stand the post.